Alright team, let's do this. Today we are building something epic in Minecraft, our very own New Jerusalem. Now, if your brain is anything like mine, it can sometimes get a bit busy. Big projects can feel like a lot. But don't worry, we're going to break it down into super simple, fun steps. The first thing we need is a place to build our amazing city. We need a lot of space, so let's find the perfect spot. I find it's easiest to use a super flat world for this. That way you don't have to spend ages clearing out trees and mountains before you even begin, just pure empty space ready for our creativity. Once you've got your flat world, fly up high and look around. We need to pick a spot for our city. Think about how big you want it to be. Should it be a perfect square, or maybe a cool rectangle? It's your city, so you get to decide. The most important thing is to make sure you have loads of room. Don't build it too close to a village or any other structures that might get in the way later. We want a blank canvas. This first step is all about getting ready, so take your time and find a place that just feels right for your awesome build. Now for the fun part, preparing the ground. Even on a super flat world, you might want to choose a special block for the foundation. I'm thinking something bright, like smooth sandstone, or maybe even quartz blocks to make it look really clean. You don't have to replace the whole world, of course. Just mark out the giant square or rectangle shape for your city walls. This gives you a clear border to work with. Having this outline helps so much because you can see exactly where you're building. It makes the huge project feel a lot less scary and more like you're just filling in a coloring book. Remember, this is creative mode, so there are no rules except to have fun. If you get distracted and decide to build a giant potato next to your city outline, that's totally okay. Sometimes the best ideas come when you're just messing around. The main goal for this first part is just to have a big, clear, flat area marked out. Once you have that, give yourself a pat on the back. You've officially started. Take a break, grab a snack, and get ready for the next step, because we're about to build some massive walls. Okay, you've got your space cleared and you're ready to go. Now it's time to build the outer walls. This part is super satisfying because you can see your city really start to take shape. Let's not make it complicated. Pick a simple block you like, maybe some cool-looking stone bricks or even something shiny like polished deep slate. We're going to build the walls high. I'd say at least 20 blocks high so it feels really grand and impressive. Just focus on one wall at a time. Don't even think about the other three. Just build one side from one corner to the other. It's way easier that way. Once you have one wall done, you'll feel amazing. Look at that. A giant wall, made by you. Now take a little break, fly around, admire your work. Then, when you're ready, start the next wall. Just repeat the process. Don't worry about making it perfect. If some blocks are a bit off, who cares? It adds character. The goal here is to get the 4 big walls up. It might take a while, so put on some music, get into the zone, and just enjoy the simple task of placing blocks. It can be really relaxing. Just focusing on building one line higher and higher. Now that our walls are up, let's make the gates. The story of New Jerusalem says there are 12 gates, 3 on each side. This sounds tricky, but we can make it easy. On each of your 4 walls, we're going to make 3 big archways. Just knock out a section of the wall to create an opening. Make it about 5 blocks wide and maybe 10 blocks high. You can decorate the frame of each gate with a special block. How about using something like pearls or diamonds? Each gate is named after one of the 12 tribes of Israel, so maybe you can place a sign at each one. Don't try to make all 12 gates at once. That's way too much to think about. Just like with the walls, focus on one side at a time. Build your 3 gates on the north wall, then stop and look at how awesome it is. Maybe fly through them a few times. Then move on to the east wall, then the south, and finally the west. Breaking it down like this keeps it fun and stops it from feeling like a chore. You're not just building walls, you're creating grand entrances to a legendary city, and you're doing an amazing job. Every amazing city needs a beautiful center, and ours is going to have a river and a giant tree. This is where we get to be super creative and add some nature to our build. First, let's make the river. It's meant to be a river of life, so we want it to look awesome. Find the middle of your city. You don't have to measure it perfectly, just find a spot that feels like the center. From there, we'll dig a channel for our river. Make it curvy and natural looking, not just a straight line. Have it wind its way through the city, maybe towards one of the gates. Once you have your riverbed dug out, it's time to add the water. Using water buckets, you can fill it up block by block. A cool trick is to place water sources at the top level, and they will flow down and fill the whole thing, creating a nice smooth surface. Don't stress about making it perfect on the first try. Water physics can be a bit weird in Minecraft. Just have fun with it. You can even line the bottom of the river with glowstone or sea lanterns to make it light up from below. Imagine how cool that will look at night. Now for the centerpiece, the Tree of Life. Right next to your new river, we're going to build a massive, incredible tree. You can do this easily by getting a sapling. I'd use an oak or a dark oak sapling for a big tree, and some bone meal. Plant the sapling in a clear spot by the river and then use the bone meal on it. Bam! Instant giant tree. If you want it to be even bigger and more special, you can build your own custom tree trunk and then add leaves to it. This lets you control the shape and make it look truly magical. Take a step back and look at what you've done. You now have a city with walls, gates, a glowing river, and a huge tree. That's incredible. This central area is the heart of your build. Feel free to add more details around it if you feel inspired. Maybe some flowers along the riverbank or some lily pads on the water. This is your world, so make it a place you love to look at. Remember to celebrate this huge step. You've built the main features, and the rest is just adding the finishing touches. You're doing great. We have our city's structure, and now it's time to bring it to life. Let's start with the streets. The streets of New Jerusalem are described as being made of pure gold, so let's do that. Grab some gold blocks and start laying down some roads. I'd start by making one main street that goes from one gate, past the Tree of Life and out the opposite gate. Then you can build smaller streets that branch off from the main one. Don't worry about making a perfect grid. Let the streets curve and wander a bit. It makes the city feel more interesting to explore. Next up, let's add some buildings. We don't need to build 100 complicated houses. Let's keep it simple and fun. You could build a few simple square houses using bright white blocks like quartz or white concrete. Or maybe build a few open-air temples with pillars and glowstone ceilings. The idea is just to fill in some of the space, so it doesn't feel so empty. Focus on building just one house at a time. Finish that one house completely before you even think about starting another one. This way you get that amazing feeling of finishing something over and over again. Lighting is super important to make your city feel magical, especially at night. We've already put some lights in our river, but let's add more. You can place sea lanterns or glowstone blocks along the sides of your golden streets. You could also put torches or lanterns on the outside of your buildings. One of my favorite tricks is to hide glowstone blocks under green carpet to make glowing grass patches. Play around with different light sources. The brighter and more vibrant, the better. We want this city to shine like a star. And that's it. Look at what you've created. A whole city. Remember, the most important rule of this whole project was to have fun. It's okay if you got distracted or if it took you a long time. It's okay if it's not perfect. What matters is that you built something that you can be proud of. Every time you finish a small part, a wall, a gate, a single house, take a moment to appreciate it. Building something this big is a huge achievement. So fly around your New Jerusalem, enjoy the glowing lights and golden streets, and know that you built this amazing place all by yourself. Well done.